Man United 3-1 Aston Villa. Gary Neville believes it is still right for Casemiro to depart Old Trafford despite latest set-piece heroics. Gary Neville claims that Manchester United are right to let Casemiro leave the club at the end of the season despite re-establishing his importance under Michael Carrick. The midfielder scored for the second consecutive game in Sunday's crucial win over Aston Villa. Gary Neville has claimed Manchester United are still right to let Casemiro go at the end of the season despite the midfielder re-establishing himself as one of Michael Carrick's most important players in the push for Champions League football. The Brazilian was on the scoresheet for the second consecutive game as he opened the scoring in United's 3-1 victory over Aston Villa, a result which sees them pull 3 points clear of Unai Emery's side in the battle for third. Despite being rumoured to leave the club in each of the last 2 summers, Casemiro has remained at Old Trafford and started in each of the last 13 Premier League games, integral to United's upturn under Carrick. His 7 goals are a season's best return. In January, it was announced that the 34-year-old would leave United when his contract expires. However, recent form has led fans to call for his continuation beyond the summer. Despite that, and his positive influence on the team, Neville still believes the right decision would be to allow Casemiro to leave. Obviously, Manchester United got him at the latter part of his career. What he was is an exceptional central midfield player that played in one of the most dominant midfields that you'll ever see at Real Madrid, he said on the Gary Neville podcast. But it's right that United do let him go, and it's right that he does leave United. This is like a cameo at the end of his career. Almost like a swan song where he's probably loving every minute and you can see it. He's kissing his badge to the fans. The fans absolutely love him, and it's right that he does leave at the end of the season. His legs at times have let him down. What I would say is there's a period in the middle of his 4-year contract where he looks heavier in his body and I don't know what happened there. Whether it's the training, whether it's something that's happened with him or whatever, I don't know. But he looks fitter, he looks leaner, he looks freer and look, he's doing a great job. Despite his role in United's push for Champions League qualification and other highlights including his goal in the Carabao Cup final victory over Newcastle in 2023, Neville believes that the holding midfielder has still been a poor investment. Under Erik ten Hag, United paid an initial £60 million plus £10 million in add-ons for the Brazilian, who remains one of the highest earners at the club. This is nothing to do with Casemiro, this is to do with Man United's poor recruitment over many years and them overpaying, Neville added. They've invested £140 million in Casemiro, £20 million a year in wages and £60 million in a fee. That's not a clever move because they are now losing him for nothing. If you're spending £140 million on a midfield player over 4 years, you'd expect that there'd be some sort of residual value at the end of it. You wouldn't be expecting that he would be running his career down. It's not a deal they would do now. You can't say it's been a great investment at £140 million, but that's not Casemiro's fault. On the day that Bruno Fernandes closed in on the Premier League's assists record in victory over Villa, Michael Carrick was asked as many questions about the contribution of outgoing Casemiro as he was about his captain. The Brazilian was another, alongside Fernandes, to lead by example. Finding himself as the most advanced midfielder for much of the game, his 4 touches in the opposition box were second only to Ahmad, 7, among the United contingent, while contesting more duels, 12, than any other. His superb header broke the deadlock of a tightly contested game and gave Carrick's side important initiative. And his connection with Fernandes was evident for United's second goal, too, sweeping the ball out to the playmaker before he set up Matheus Cunha. Carrick spoke glowingly of the understanding between the pair post-match. Fernandes can only play his role so effectively because of the protection in behind, with Casemiro and Kobbie Mainoo proving to be the perfect blend of experience and youth. The 34-year-old's XG on target value, 0.68, was the 6th highest of players to play more than 20 minutes across match week 30. He might be coming to the end of his United stint, but he's ensuring he goes out with a bang. To end on such a high is perhaps the most fitting finish for a player who has achieved more than most ever will in the game. Gary Neville has said that Manchester United will need to sign 2 midfielders if they are to build on what Michael Carrick has begun in his interim spell in charge. And it is true, regardless of whether Casemiro was leaving the club or not. His leaving forces them to prioritise 2 over 1 this summer, because the impact he is having likely can't be replicated by just one player. In his first season at Old Trafford, Casemiro was a breath of fresh air. Combative, composed, and with an eye for a goal or pass that perhaps had been overlooked, playing next to Toni Kroos and Luka Modric. The next 18 months were far tougher. He looked unfit, at times maybe even overweight, and was overexposed under Ten Hag and latterly Ruben Amorim. This season, something has changed. It was claimed Amorim personally put players on separate fitness plans ahead of pre-season, and with Casemiro it worked, albeit the system never fit his profile. As Neville said, he has looked leaner, more mobile, and has been more effective at both ends of the pitch. Defensively, the veteran ranks in the top 3 holding midfielders in the league for tackles, interceptions and possessions won in all thirds of the pitch. On the ball, he has created more than his counterparts, been involved in more touches, and has walked away with a pass completion rate that ranks in the top 10. Add to that his threat in the area. His 6 goals from set pieces are more than any other player this season. And the nature of some of those goals are crucial. In 5 of the 7 games he has netted in, United would have lost points without his contribution. These are all stats with incredible value. And what you can't measure is experience. For Manu there is no greater mentor, and he must soak up all the knowledge he can for the next couple of months.